Report, where wealth strategies and investment wisdom collide, featuring your distinguished host and certified financial planner, Bart Zandbergen.
Welcome to our show of Dream Chasers and Wealth Makers. We are thrilled to be back in the studio today with a new episode of the Zandbergen Report. I'm proud to bring in the movers, shakers, and difference makers who are passionate about what they have learned and what you need to know today. And today I am so pleased to have in studio, virtual studio that is, Dr. Sanjay Grover. Dr. Grover, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bart. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And of course we have Paul. How are you doing today, Paul?
And of course we have Paul. He never sounds excited to have me in here. I'm the voice of the everyman here, and I'm amazed that we're still in lockdown here. I'm not coming back to Earth. I'm circling the planet right now. I'm trying to get as far away as I can, social distance from both of you here. So.
For those who are not on YouTube, you're missing Paul he's literally in space from what we can see here.
That's right.
It's a little creepy.
It's Elon Musk and I. He let me ride along on SpaceX here, so I'm up. Elon's around the corner here. He's piloting it. I'm in the back here.
Good time to get away from Earth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah. All right, Dr. Grover, a lot to cover today, but let's just start with, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and this, and from there.
Sure, Bart. Well, I'm actually an Orange County native, grew up in Laguna Niguel, and now have been in practice in plastic surgery here for almost 18 years. I've been in practice 20 years. I started my practice up in Beverly Hills, and I'm married with 3 children, and we keep busy.
I lived in Laguna Niguel for a while, so maybe we missed each other. And Paul, you might be surprised. How I normally have meet people and bring them to the show, but I'll give you a guess. How do you think
you
I know
always
Dr.
meet
Grover?
people at this gym? There is a whole world of doers and movers and shakers that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out at these gyms that you frequent here. So if it's not that, I don't know. You weren't neighbors in Laguna Niguel. I can't imagine. What brought the two of you together here?
So it's not that. Common is the Riviera Magazine men's book. So we were together in what they call the committee for Orange County. So we've had some fun doing things with that.
We got to get Bart to turn his camera down a little bit because we're just cutting half of your face off here. There you go. Now it's better.
All right. There we go.
All
right. So Dr. Grover, things have changed in our world almost on a daily basis. But in the area of plastic surgery, how has COVID changed things in your practice and how you're carrying on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. COVID obviously has affected all of us in so many ways, personally and professionally. With plastic surgery, and my practice is really geared towards aesthetic plastic surgery, or all cosmetic surgery of the face and body. We were basically shut down for about 6 weeks, beginning at the end of March, and just started to reopen in the last few weeks here, when the governor did state it was okay to start elective surgery. So now we've been operating for several weeks, and of course, we've got a lot more precautionary measures put in place to help protect the patient, to protect ourselves, our staff, et cetera, just to make sure that we are safe against COVID. It's still, the virus is still out there, so we still have things to worry about. Fortunately, the percentages are lower than what we thought they would be, but still, we're seeing a lot of young, healthy people get sick and pretty darn sick. So we want to make sure we have those measures in place. So we are asking our patients to undergo preoperative COVID testing, what we call PCR testing, several days in advance of surgery to test whether or not they actually carry the virus at that moment. And then we ask them to isolate for several days after taking that test until they have surgery, just to minimize any chance of exposure or becoming an asymptomatic carrier for the virus, because we don't want somebody to have surgery and then be a carrier, and that would impact the recovery, and the recovery would impact the way they could handle or deal with COVID. So we really want to try and be very safe about this. And so, of course, we're doing that when we're minimizing the number of patients we're seeing in our office. We're doing a number of virtual consults. So during the time that we were, had stayed at home, I was busy doing a lot of virtual consults online because a lot of patients, a lot of people had more time as well to take the time to do consults. So we did a number of virtual consults, and now when we're having patients in the office, of course, we're checking their temperature at the door, we're having them wear a mask, we're limiting who comes in, we're trying to minimize the flow, so we're not trying to have anybody waiting at all. So we're trying to, kind of keep things online.
So you bring up something that I've been thinking about. So we're all doing these Zoom meetings and FaceTime meetings and so forth now, and as even we're talking here, we see ourselves in them, kind of looking at one side and another. How do you think there has been any effect on people's perception of themselves or their psyche, or now their desire to, like, wow, after looking at myself on the screen all day, I really need to do this or do that? Has that been an effect?
Oh, definitely. People are looking at social media. Just like I said, I've been on so many Zoom calls or web calls these days. You take notice of yourself and others, and so I think not only are people, they're seeing themselves and seeing what they're being looked upon and how they're being seen, that they are now thinking, okay, we're getting people calling and saying, oh, I need to come in for some Botox or fillers or laser or a facelift or rhinoplasty. So we're getting all those calls, or especially the chin and under chin area, the neck area.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting all those calls.
Has it advanced? Is that classified as telehealth, the virtual consult, or is that different?
Yeah, telehealth essentially is what we're doing.
So do you feel that you can properly, and if I'm using the wrong words, let me know, but properly like diagnose and get ready for, like, hey, we've done a full pre-op basically virtually, and our next meeting is we're doing whatever it is you need to do. Are we at that level?
No, I don't think we're there. The way we're handling this is that we're having patients submit photos beforehand so that I can, and my patient coordinator is calling the patients ahead of time and speaking with them, find out their concerns, and then she will convey that to me. I'll review the photos, and then I'll get online in a secure way and do a virtual consult with the patient. But I've already seen their photos, so that way I'm able to give them a good assessment. If it's a body issue, if it's a facial issue, I've seen their photos, different views, and then I'm also looking at them on the camera, and I can give them my overall impression of what I think needs to be done. Now, of course, I can't touch or feel or examine the tissues, or if somebody's got a nose issue or a breathing issue, I can't look into their nose, but I can have them breathe and see how the airway, how it sounds. So the things that I can do in a limited basis. And then, of course, if somebody's ready to move forward, then what we're doing is we're having patients come in several weeks before their surgery date for an actual inpatient preoperative visit, because we don't want them to just show up to surgery without actually being examined in person.
All right. I was just checking to see if it had gone that far.
No, we're not there.
So, it's just us guys here, just guys talking. And, Paul's been talking about wanting some surgery for months now. So,
yes, absolutely.
What kind of things are guys doing these days?
Well, about 15% of my patients are men. And we've got guys coming in for non-surgical issues and surgical issues. And when we talk about the non-surgical issues, they're coming in for things that the ladies are coming in for too. They're coming in for Botox. They're coming in for some fillers, not in the same way, but definitely for certain items. They're coming in for some chemical peels or laser treatments. We have a number of other non-surgical devices for body contouring, whether it's fat reduction, like cool sculpting, or building up abdominal muscles with a device called, M-Tone or M-Sculpt. So we're doing all these things. And as far as surgery, they come in for eyelids, noses, facelifts, gynecomastia, liposuction, Some have lost a lot of weight and undergo a tummy tuck or belt lipectomy, sculpting the abs, pec enhancement, you name it.
All right, Paul, what sounds good to you?
I'm writing these down here. I just need a full workup. I just need a full, complete, top to bottom here. I think that's what I need.
Well, all you listen to right there.
Hey, Dr. Grover, do you have any good stories in those areas that you could share?
For guys coming in, you know,
I guess just in general, I'll put you on the spot. Just like, I don't know, maybe I'm more along the lines of someone who's coming in. Maybe it's just you've turned around their complete, their life, their self-confidence, and something along those lines.
and that's what makes this job so enjoyable, right? We don't look at it as a job. This really is something that we just truly enjoy doing. At least many of us do, and that's how I feel. This is that you really get to enhance somebody's outlook on life. And that they're improving themselves. So you're helping building dreams. You're making somebody attain something or be happier. So that's the part that's really rewarding. And whether that's, it could be a rhinoplasty for somebody. They had a bump on their nose that bothered them their whole life. Or, for instance, I have men who come in and they're bothered and they're so self-conscious about the size of their nipples. And I'm not talking about gynecomastia. I'm actually talking about the actual size of their nipple. And they don't feel comfortable wearing a tight shirt. They don't feel comfortable taking off their shirt because of the size of their nipples. And you'll see guys where you think that maybe it looks within normal, standards, but it's something that they're self-conscious about, that having that little procedure done really makes a big difference for them and changes their outlook. And so you never know what that one thing is going to be. To somebody else, it may seem like, oh, no big deal. Why should they worry about, their nose or their face or whatever it is, their waist? But for somebody, there's really some underlying issues that bother people. And so when you take care of those small things, it really can make a big difference.
You've mentioned a couple of things that I've actually never even heard of, especially in the body sculpting. So how do you stay on this cutting, innovative edge? How do you stay so sharp?
Yeah, there's so many things to learn on any given subject. And so that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that I do, so many different areas. I don't just do one specific area. So, the tough part is you need to stay up on all the latest advances. And so that means a lot of meetings or a lot of articles, journal articles. These days over the COVID home time, there was a lot of webinars, a lot of good meetings that were going on, a lot of calls between colleagues. We're talking about techniques, sharing different thoughts and ideas, and really trying to make things better. So that's been nice, is because we've been able to share with people throughout the country and then internationally.
So, switching gears a little bit, is it 2 or 3 kids?
We have 3 kids. My daughter's graduating from high school and twin boys that are going to 7th grade now.
So, dad to dad, how's that been? Because you're obviously spending a lot more time at home. How's that process been?
It's been interesting. I mean, in some ways it's been good, but it's been a challenge, especially for my wife. The kids are always running around at home, and so wanting a lot more meals and a lot more cleaning around the house. And so I'm trying to help out as much as I can, but it makes it tougher when you're trying to do a Zoom call or something like that. But we're spending a little bit more time playing hoops outside. Unfortunately, the tennis courts were closed for a while, so we couldn't play tennis. But we're a tennis family, so But we have a pool, so we're able to enjoy the pool some too.
Okay, well that's great.
Yeah. How about
Have
you?
you had any? It's funny you should bring that up. Because the child I have at home is 4. My others are grown, and this is the first time I've actually done the show from home, because no one knows what we're recording later in the day.
Closet behind you with the purse hanging behind your back.
Yeah, that's my daughter's favorite unicorn purse, and then the cutout picture with her picture on the face. She's put that up for me. And I keep looking over because at any moment she could just barge through the door and want me to play with her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been challenging, but I think I'm hopeful, and I'm certain that there's going to be aspects of this whole period we're going to look back and say, there were some great times had during this, what would, conceivably be a terrible time, but we can make the most of it.
Yeah,
That's what I try to do.
oh, definitely. I mean, it's just unfortunate about what's going on, in the last week. That's really changed, this world. And so that does make it, where we had something that we're trying to combat, COVID-19, and now all the rioting that's going on. And the thing that concerns me quite a bit too with this is that we're going to see a resurgence and a bigger uptick in COVID cases because of all this, lack of.
So I've heard that over the last few days. So from your medical opinion, you think that's a possibility?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you just look at everybody that's protesting and is out there together, shoulder to shoulder, and it's understandable, but still, it's going to be tough because any one carrier can expose a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm afraid that this, I know it's kind of a cliche now, but the new normal, and I don't know what that exactly is, but I don't know if or when we'll ever get back to kind of our quote unquote old life. I mean, just look at your office. I think it's going to be, temperature checking, masks, double checking, pre-surgery. I think that's going to be pretty quote unquote normal for a while.
Yeah, well, I think until we have a vaccine or a good cure, that's going to be the case. So we're probably looking at least a good year to 18 months. So it's going to make things, quite interesting. But, hopefully there'll be some good things that we take away from this as far as, cleanliness and sanitation and things of that nature, and just being aware of germs and bacteria and viruses, etc. So hopefully we will come out of this better than we were.
Can I ask you one quick question as you guys are debating what's going to look like on the other side here? We're already seeing signs that they're going to come up with contact tracing apps, and that stores and restaurants and other things may be asked to implement these or ask people to sign up for them so they can track where you've been, and suddenly if you show up sick, they can go back through the database and alert everybody, hey, there was somebody in the restaurant today next to you that was sick. But then that opens up all this fear of, I don't want to give my data. I don't want to be tracked and traced. Any talk about any of that? Maybe not in Bart's business as much, or maybe clients are coming in and you're going to ask them to do that. They may do that in my building here at TechSpace. They're talking about asking people, if you want to come in here, then you've got to sign away, we'll anonymously collect the data, but you've got to somehow be able to share this data. What do you think of that? All that kind of stuff. Data sharing about where you've been.
Yeah, that's going down a tricky road there, Paul. Depends how much data you want to give out.
Yeah, right.
On everything
Exactly.
you do, and probably unknowingly we're doing that already with our smartphones. Where so much information is already being tracked.
People say these Alexas and everything are already tracking us, and they're already collecting everything from your TV and your phones and your smart speakers and everything here.
Yeah. We just don't realize what we're giving up, right?
Right.
But
That's for sure.
So Paul,
Dr. Grover,
I was going to say, Paul,
I'm sorry?
You're in the TechSpace building
Yes, exactly.
down in Aliso Viejo?
Yes, exactly. Well, there's that's the original one.
We're in Costa Mesa.
We're the other one in Costa Mesa. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Aliso Viejo.
The second
I was
one.
one of the original investors in that one.
You were. Well, see, and then I don't know how that all played out, but they eventually sold out to a bigger company, Industrious, and
Yeah, that was way after I got in during the tech boom in the late 90s. And so then there was the big crash. So I didn't fare so.
Oh, yeah.
Well, again, and now everybody's wondering, do we need spaces? And if you do have spaces, we're going to be more spaced out. Are you having to do that in your practice? I don't know how many, exam rooms or how close people are getting things, but I can see already in buildings where they're taking out every other desk.
Well, we just built out a beautiful new office last year. So right now we've got this gorgeous waiting room that is now just kind of a little walkway.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. You got to spread everybody out. Yeah. Well, it's a strange
Doc,
world
I
we're
know
entering
probably
into
actually a
here.
little bit over time, but one
Yeah.
are we okay? So one of the benefits I get to do is ask my guests their final thought question, and that is, what is your ultimate lesson learned in your career as a medical professional?
Ultimate question learned.
Ultimate lesson learned.
Excuse me, lesson learned. Yeah. I think what we can see now is that you can never, never doubt what humans are capable of, right? I think, we're seeing that there's ways that we can advance technology, we can advance medicine, and we've come so far in every specialty. And so there's still so much to be learned, but we're making advances at leaps and bounds. Yeah.
That's a good one. Good. And then lastly, how can people reach you?
Well, if you want to reach me, you can either look us up on the internet at drgrover.com. That's drgrover, Grover.com, or on Instagram, it's Sanjay Grover MD. So SANJAY Grover, GROVER MD.
Great. He knows how to do it, Paul. Spells it out.
Well, he's been on the show before. He's been through the routine here. He's an old hand at doing these things now here.
Well, Dr. Grover, I really appreciate you taking the time to spend some time with us on the show and sharing some of your great thoughts and philosophies. I look forward to getting together with you sometime soon, and if not on a show like this, but maybe just over a glass of wine.
That sounds wonderful. You guys take care. Have a good night.
All right. I want to thank the audience who's tuned in, and we look forward to being back in the studio next week. Cheers.
Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Catch up on our recent shows by visiting bartzandbergen.podbean.com. The Zandbergen Report is also available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Interested in being a featured guest on our show, or have a question you'd like to hear us answer? Email podcast@bartzandbergen.com. Bart A. Zandbergen, CFP, and Letitia Burbaum, AIF, are registered investment advisors with Optivest Inc. and registered representatives with Gramercy Securities Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered by Optivest Inc. under SEC registration.